Mental Health Mondays ignite the spark. Hope guides each step, even in the dark. New week, new dreams to see. Hope's the key to what's meant to be.
Good evening. Welcome to Mental Health Mondays with Hope. I am Hope. Thanks for joining us. Before we bring on our guest, a few things. One, if you have not subscribed to the PA Empowerment Network yet, please find that subscribe button and click subscribe. It is free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and you can watch all of the great podcasts that we have here at the PA Empowerment Network. You can find Mental Health Mondays on Facebook at Mental Health Mondays with Hope. Please join us every Monday. And then also we have so many other programs going on here that we'd love for you to just really dive in and get involved in watching all of the PA Empowerment Network shows. Before I bring in our guests, I have to show you here. I have to show you my jacket. Can you see my jacket? All right. So I have to tell you that this, my friend Martha Dunn, she has a Studio One Thrift. If you are near Stroudsburg, look her up on Facebook, Studio One Thrift Shop, and she will hook you up with some great, really cool threads. And unfortunately, she's closing. So, but that means that you can get some good deals. Studio One Thrift. Check her out. Ding dong. Anyway, our guest this evening, we're going to bring him on now. His name is Charlie. Where you are? There you go. Charlie Stecker. Hey, buddy. How's it going?
I'm too blessed to be stressed and too highly favored to be wavered. How about you, Hope?
There you go. I love it. I love it. Oh, you should have told me. I would have been ready with some rhymes. Got a bust the rhyme going on here. So this is, we're talking about stigmas, about mental health stigmas tonight, and we're gonna get Charlie's journey. And I just want to tell everyone how Charlie and I met. It was, gosh, what are we talking, like longer than 2 years ago now, right?
Oh yeah, more like about 4 or 5 years ago at this point.
Yeah, it was a mental health rally in Courthouse Square, and I never met Mr. Stecker before. And I remember, I'm a mental health practitioner, and I remember how forthcoming he was, and he talked about his own mental health and said, as a veteran, that if the VA was not as involved in his life as they are, that he had contemplated suicide pretty much all the time, taking his own life. And and he was thankful for the VA. And it caught me off guard a little bit, because that's the first time I think ever, even doing what I do, that someone was so immediately forthcoming to talk about their mental health journeys and struggles. And I know that you're an advocate for others. So let's learn about Charlie. Tell us about you. Tell us about your life, because I know your life. So give us.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on, Hope. And I always like to start things with a positive note. So I want to share something I share with everyone. 2 things I want everyone to remember. Never let anyone steal your dream, and don't be your own thief.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, right? Don't steal from yourself. My journey of suicide ideation started at the age of 4, when I witnessed the murder of my 2-year-old brother and held him in my arms as he took his last breaths. Throughout the majority of my childhood and into early adulthood, and actually well into just a few years ago, I had attempted several times. Obviously, I wasn't successful. I'm still here, so that's a good thing. And I realized at one point I was carrying a weight on me that had been placed on me called the stigma of mental health issues. I wasn't asking for help because, anybody who does that's a Looney Tune and and just a crazy person. And I wasn't a Looney Tune or a crazy person. One day, after starting at the VA for some help, I mentioned to my mental health worker there about what I was dealing with in the issues of my suicide ideation and how I lived with it daily. and not realizing even some of the things I had been exposed to in the military added to that idea was in my head. And through their programs and my willingness to work, and folks, suicide ideation can be overcome. I'm a living proof of it. Do the thoughts still come in my head? I'd be lying if I said that they didn't. But what I've learned, what I've gone through, is that when they do come in my head, they are but a seed floating around in the midst of the air of my mind. If I allow that seed to find its way into germinate into my mind, now the action the possibility of the action becomes more real. So yes, the thoughts still come into my mind, but now I know how to collect that seed, gather it up, toss it to the side so it doesn't have a chance to germinate and grow into the thought that could become the action. And so that's in the military. I went through military sexual trauma. I was sexually accosted twice on board ship in the U.S. Coast Guard while Liberty. All times, nothing happened more than groping and touching, but it was enough that it traumatized me, and I was able to fight the other person off. But that's kind of a real quick synopsis. I know you know a lot more about my story, but that gives an overall quick view of it.
Right, right. And I just want to, you just said that all it was groping. So that's enough. You don't need to qualify it. If a line was crossed, no matter how far over that line was crossed, it was crossed. So
That
your experiences are as valid as anyone else's. So don't ever think they're not.
and I appreciate that. I also want to share this that very few men more starting to talk about it, but not very many. Uh, Pornography was something I struggled with the majority of my adulthood. It ruined my first marriage by my choices to allow myself to be involved with it. Yes, I was exposed to it early in my childhood by my biological mother. I had to return her after 10 years in foster care. But I made a conscious choice as an adult to do the things I did. I can point my finger and say those things may have influenced me, and they did. But ultimately, I was the adult that made the choice. I'm blessed today to be broken of that, to have that another one of those yokes taken off of my back, and I don't struggle with that anymore. And again, folks, I want people to understand when you go in and you come out of recovery, it doesn't mean those things are never going to find a way to try to get back in your mind and grab a hold of you again and be a stronghold in your life. The key is being aware when they're coming in and having a way of getting rid of them, whether it's calling someone else, using your own mind, or just having someone nearby. But that's really important to understand that just because we got over it doesn't mean it's going to not try to come back and get itself in there again.
Right, right. And I mean,
And
we talk
thank you for
about
your acknowledgement.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, we talk about all kinds of addictions that, you will always be an addict, but it's whether or not that addiction is active. And the people who forget that they, have that addiction, or that they are prone, or, to have that addiction, when they forget that, then that's when it's very, very easy to kind of slip back into that behavior, no matter what the addiction is.
True, true. You could be addicted to drinking too much water every day. It's again, like you said, don't qualify whatever you're going through. It's the reality of the truth that you're dealing with.
Right, right. And I think it's important. I mean, we're living in some times right now that are outrageous, to say the least. And I feel, social media definitely has things that have made it negative, because you can have like the most outrageous, outlandish ideology or thought in the world, and because of social media you will find at least one other person that agrees with you, and that can be a bad thing. But it can also be a good thing, because we can do podcasts like this. We can talk and share our story, which I feel is so important. And I mean, I know, for me, being a survivor of sexual abuse, it's important for me to share my story for other survivors of sexual abuse. For you, being a male with all of your background, it's huge for you to share that, because like you said, there are males that will not talk about this because of the way the stigmas that society puts on them. Men can't be raped. Men can't be sexually abused. So, I mean, what you're doing is great. And what made you decide to be so outspoken about it?
What started me on the journey to being outspoken is, as a child, it was sit down, shut up. A child should be seen and not heard. When I got into adult life and I got out of the military, I realized I didn't go through all those experiences just to sit there and hold them into myself. When I started getting help for myself through finally reaching out, I realized I now have a responsibility to take that energy that was given to me and not just allow it to vest itself inside of me, but find its way out to those around me. And that's how I try to live my life every day. Am I human? Yes. Do I make mistakes? Heck yes. Well, I hope that doesn't count as a swear word. But
No, you're
you know,
good.
at, at the end of the day, so what made me come out, because I realized there's not a lot of men who are comfortable talking about these issues. And there may be a man right now watching, or maybe a woman that knows a man not right now watching, that may not know what to do, and may have still carry that stigma, or still carry some fear. My name's very uniquely spelled. You can see it there on the screen, Charlie. That's actually how my little brother used to say my name that was murdered, and that's why I adopted it as my name. But you can find me on the internet and reach out to me, and we could talk privately. And I'm willing to help anybody that needs that 24/7, 366. And I say 366 so I don't forget leap year.
Right, there we go. Well, because it's 360 something and a half, right?
Well,
Um,
365 and
now,
a quarter. That's what it is, really.
yeah, you don't have like a website or anything like that, right? It's just your social media.
I used to have a website, but I found that it really wasn't advantageous to me. So, no, I don't have one right now. But I'm easy to find. There's only two CHAHLIEs on Facebook. The one's a young lady that I made friends with because of the name, and the other one's me.
Gotcha, gotcha. But now, there are other advocacy type things that you've been involved in before I ever met you. Give us a little bit of that background.
Well, let's see. I just retired in December. I was the president and executive director of Envision Housing. It was a HUD approved housing counseling agency where I was also a HUD certified housing counselor. I started a program and run a program called the International Child Abuse Prevention Task Force. I started that right after my biological father passed away in 2012 in memory of my brother. I'm blessed to have that organization is involved with helping children, well, actually helping organizations around the world that are too busy caught up in their own, I put it this way, Hope. You have an organization that has a lot of shoes, but they don't know what to do with their extra shoes, and they need food. You have an organization with a lot of food, but they won't connect with the other organization because of different what's the word? Different
Maybe
personality
like
traits,
ideologies. Right. Okay. Sure.
personality conflicts, ideologies. And so I look for a way to, okay, let's take your surplus and get to the person who needs it and the other one over. So that's what the foundation of the International Child Abuse Prevention Task Force was for. And then I'm blessed to also have a speaking company that I started in memory of my brother's name. And it's actually one of the words in it is part of your show title. It's Charlie's Angels Programs of Empowerment, CAPE.
Nice.
And the cape is my brother's angel wings. Uh, as they envelop him and myself and everyone else that I'm blessed to have come into my sphere of energy.
Right. Right. And you know that I'm active with Justice for Melinda, which was
Yes.
Melinda Hope. Yes, and you have offered to meet with them at any point that they're ready to do that, and and help advise them as they try to move forward. In
Uh,
really kind of doing the same type of work, creating
yeah. I
laws and
also
changing laws.
Speaking of laws, that's where I was going to go next. You led right into it. Perfect. I'm blessed to have also been one of the people that helped get the Child Victims Act passed in New York State. I worked with Matt Sandusky. If anybody recognizes that last name, his first name, his father was Jerry Sandusky, who had sexually abused him up at Penn State. Matt and I worked in Brooklyn. I led 3 rallies across the Brooklyn Bridge, spoke up in the capital of New York, and we were able to get the Child Victims Act passed there. Before that, as early as 1994, which to me seems like a couple days ago, but I can't believe it's 31 years already, A little girl named Megan Kenka was murdered in Hamilton, New Jersey. From that, we got what we know now as a sex offender registry. I lived in Hamilton, New Jersey at that time, and I got involved in the grassroots effort of getting Megan's Law passed across the country. I will not take any credit for the law passing. I was just glad to be a part of the program. I wish we didn't have to do it, but I'm glad that I was able to be part of the groundbreaking that got that going, and now to know it's passed in all 50 states. I also
Right.
support Aaron Marin. What's that?
No, I just said right, right. That's wonderful.
If you heard of Aaron's Law, that's on proper sex education to kids in school. Aaron Marin, she's a dear friend of mine. Her laws got passed, and I think she's up to almost 40 states now. We're still working on
Right.
that grassroots effort. Um, it's not about what I do, because I don't want anybody to put my name in lights. Please don't put me on a pedestal, because when I fall off, it will hurt. And as I get older, I tend to break easier, so I don't want that to happen. But I share these things to say anybody could do what I'm doing. Anybody
Right.
at all. You don't need any kind of special education. Heck, now you hear my titles. Ooh, it sounds so great. I have a high school diploma. That's the furthest academia I ever got to. But yet, because I'm tenacious and I don't know how to give up and I just keep going after stuff, the job I had as a HUD certified housing counselor and executive director of the agency required a master's degree normally. But there's nothing you can't do if you believe. Remember what I said in the beginning. Never let anybody steal your dream, and don't be your own thief.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, you're where you're at and I'm where I'm at, and I can feel your energy coming through the airwaves. I mean, that is how much energy you create. And that to me is amazing. And I'm going to do the whole don't judge a book by its cover, because that's one of the things that I do when I'm teaching is I have people like look at somebody else and guess who did what. Did we lose Charlie? Okay. Because when I look at Charlie, by the way, is the polka gnome. So if you've ever seen at parades and things like that, a tall man dressed up like a gnome, that is Mr. Charlie Stecker. He refers to himself as polka gnome. POCONOME. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to be right back with you on Mental Health Mondays. We'll see you in a minute here.
Hi, we're Chantel Davis and Brian Davis. We own Willie Mays Place and Legacy Vines Winery, located in Gilbert, Pennsylvania. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner and wine flights and really delicious Southern comfort food. Come and join us. We'll happily seat you, your family. We have a beautiful farm-to-table garden, as well as 2 therapy donkeys named Freedom and Friar Tuck that you're welcome to come and visit. Give us a call if you have any questions or would like to make a reservation, and we look forward to seeing you.
Hey, we're back. So before our break,
Yeah.
I was talking about how we, judging a book by its cover, and you are the polka gnome. And, I love it because, I mean, people make assumptions about me or don't believe. So, I'm tattooed, I ride a motorcycle, I have a carry permit, and, and then, we've got this, you look the part that I am with all those other sides. And well, you ride too. But do you find that people don't approach you because they judge your appearance before they know you?
Oh, 1,000%. It's hilarious. Now, mind you, I just grew all of this in since December when I retired. I decided I'm taking a year off from shaving. So, but yeah, it's funny how people shy away. Some people that even know me but didn't know it was me because of the way I look right now. You see them look different. I think it's hilarious. I'll walk by them, and then I'll turn around and say, hey, and they go, Charlie, I knew that was you. But yeah, don't judge a book by its cover. By the way, the Pocanome, I want to share that. Uh, a while back, I decided I wanted to find a way to open up a door to speak to children. I did have a seat on Monroe County's Children Youth Advisory Board. I have since retirement stepped down from that. I still hold a seat on Middle Smithfield's Economic Development Committee. Like I said, I don't like to put out the laundry list of what I do because it's not about recognition for me. It's to make sure I can serve the community. But that being said, the whole Pocanome idea came to me because being a child that was sexualized at a very young age, and then re-exposed to it in the teenage years, to literally my mother actually doing things she shouldn't have been doing with her teenage son. I realized that I wanted to bring a message to children, but in a way that they wouldn't be affected negatively like I was. So being a person that likes to collect them, I decided to go ahead and have a gnome costume made. I'm a Philadelphia mummer. If you ever heard of that, we do every New Year's Day. We have a big parade. Well, I had a gnome costume made, and I called the gnome Transcender, transcending your trauma, transcending life's challenges, transcending what goes on in the world. And he was named Transcend Stay Home Gnome.
You're cutting out. You're cutting out on us a little bit.
Mommy, it's the polka gnome.
Yeah, you're cutting out on us. Can you maybe find a spot that has little,
can you hear me now?
And I mean the kind that's on your phone.
That's what I'm trying to. Yeah.
Can you hear you now? Are you there?
Unfortunately, my phone and the area I'm AT&T isn't really good around here. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. All right.
Can you hear me? Let me see if I can move over here.
No,
okay.
You're perfect right now. So go ahead.
Right. So okay, good. But I don't know where I cut off. Yeah, Transcender, the polka was supposed to be Transcender is home gnome was his original name, and I was
cutting out again.
And little kid goes, "Mommy, it's the polka gnome."
I don't know if you're back or not, but definitely keep walking around and find a spot.
Hello.
Where we can keep you in there, because you have such great things to say. I want to hear it. There you go. I want to hear every word.
Testing 1 2. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Freeze.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
So now you have to freeze. Freeze tag. Right. You're it.
So okay, the polka gnome. I'm frozen. So
good. We got a good portion of the polka gnome, but that's so that you can. And now you said that you're a mummer. Do you actually participate in the Mummers Day Parade in Philly?
Yeah, I was a drummer for many years for string bands, and now I'm in the fancies and the comics now.
Nice. I love it.
Yep.
My mom, I love the Mummers, and so does my mom. And my goal is to get her down to the parade, I probably have to get it years in advance to just get a hotel room. Well, I would see what I want though.
You need to get your mom in a Mummers Parade. You let me know when you need to get your mom to the Mummers Parade. I'll get her a seat right by the judging stands. All right.
You're on.
Hold me to that. You're only as good as your word if you follow through with it.
I know. So I mean, again, I love your energy, and that you have a special place in my heart, because I just think you're so awesome and everything that you've gone through, and I know that you're really only touching the surface on the severity of that. You've already given great advice, but what more can you tell people to help them? Because we're in a place right now again, and I think ever since COVID too, mental health has really taken a nosedive, and then you have so much hatred where it's been normalized, and anger. I see it as PTSD ever since 9/11, but what can you tell us, especially for men?
Well, let's see. I actually have 2 more nuggets, I guess, before we close out the show. So the first nugget will be this. I think you might have lost me. I lost you. I see me, but I don't see you, and I haven't moved. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear me still. Hopefully you'll come back on. I seem to have lost you. Hello.
Yep.
Well, can you hear me now?
We're there. Yes.
I haven't moved.
Okay. No, you're good.
Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to share, it's pertaining to them, but actually pertains to everyone. A lot of times in the world of recovery, we hear the word survivor a lot. And one thing I realized when I was labeling myself a survivor, I was actually keeping myself very close to the victimization. Because when you think about it, in the middle of your being victimized, if you didn't survive it, you wouldn't be here to talk about it. So
Right.
to me, a survivor is, you're already a survivor while you're overcoming the victimization you're going through. So what I want to share with people is, if you have gotten out of whatever it was that was attempting to victimize you, you're more than a survivor, you're an overcomer. And I share this. Imagine, hopefully this broadcast is still going.
Oh,
I
we
see no
are. We're
more.
good. Yep. Nope, we're
Okay.
going.
So I want to share this, that so if you're no longer in whatever it was that had its grasp on you, be it an addiction, be it a negative situation, an abusive situation, you've gotten free from that. You've actually grown from a survivor into an overcomer, because you've overcome the ability of whatever it is that was attempting to victimize you to have any power over you. But it's that during that time that you begin the early stages of the healing process, where you're actually crawling on your knees to begin to heal. I liken that to being in a body of water. When you come up out of water, if you've been in it any long period of time, your clothes will be wet, your skin will be wrinkled, your hair will be a mess, but you're out of it. That water can no longer take your life like it could if you were in it much longer. So you overcome, and while you're overcoming, your skin's drying out, your clothes are drying out, and you're beginning to look around, and that's your healing time. Then you're going to get to a point in that process where you begin to thrive. And it's during thriving, a lot of people decide they want to start to do advocacy work. And I'm going to caution you to something. While that is important, that is good, and is a process to help you in your healing process, sometimes we can jump too fast into advocacy, because you can get into some advocacy that can actually drive you back into your victimhood because you weren't mentally prepared to handle it. And in my case, I'm talking about murder of children. I jumped right into going into courtrooms and helping, realize I was going right back to the trauma of my brother. So until I knew I could
Right.
handle that, what you call it? I stopped doing that. Now today I can say I'm clear. I know I can sit through all types of reports and everything else. But don't be afraid to be a thriver. Thriving is important. But what you can do while you're thriving, and what you should be doing, is grab that life ring off the side of wherever you're at and throw it out to that person that's out there struggling. You can help that way. You don't have to dive into those waters. Jumping into what you went through and not being prepared for it can cause you to drown if you aren't ready to actually do the work. But throw those life rings out. Encourage the people from the sidelines. That's great. People need that. And if you get to the point where you are able to go ahead and take that next step and actually dive in, knowing that it's not going to have any adverse reaction on your life, a negative impact on your life, then jump in, become a warrior, get in there, and don't be afraid to get out when you need to for your own mental health and well-being.
I love it. I love it. So we've got victim, we've got survivor,
Then we have
overcomer,
yep,
thriver,
thrive,
and
and
then
then warrior.
warrior. That's great. That's great. I love it. I absolutely love it, because I, for a long time, and even especially like in the women's movement, with sexual abuse, we've used the terminology of victim to survivor to thriver, but the overcomer part is huge, because you're right. When you think about survivor, it's just the opposite of being the victim. If you're not the victim anymore, yeah, you survived. But overcomer is absolutely amazing. In the climate we're in right now, how do you feel? How do you see mental health, and how do you see the stigma? Are we changing it? What are the programs like? Are we getting what we need in our communities?
I feel that we are making leaps in the right direction. Some staggering back, which is welcome to be a normal and human. We're going to do that as human beings. But I think that we're seeing a great breakthrough. Um, I, I do want to share one more piece when you're ready. I want to share with you. This
Please,
is the one
no,
that might
you.
cost this is the one that might cost me something in the swear jar, but I got to share it
Uh-oh.
anyway.
Okay.
So here's what I'm going to say, and this happens all the time, but it's happening even more now in our society. Life is throwing shit at a lot of us, folks. Okay. And that's the reality of life. It does it all the time. What I learned in my life is, when life shit's coming at me, I have four choices with it. I can either consume it and become it myself. I can wear it and look like it. I could take what's coming at me and toss it to everyone else, and they got to figure out what to do with it. Or I learned to do the fourth thing, which is what I think all of us need to learn to do, and I continue to learn every day. let that shit fall all around you and use it for fertilizer to grow a better life for yourself and the people in your general area.
I love it. I love it. That is great. So when are you writing a book?
I actually have. I'm finishing up the book on my brother called "A Promise to My Brother." It's my 50-year investigation into his murder, his very preventable murder. The woman that killed him actually is recorded now. We know she killed at least 2 other children, and possibly more before him, and possibly more after him. I'm waiting. So that book's coming out hopefully months to a year, and then I'm working on a movie with a gentleman named Antoine Fisher. He had a movie made about his life years ago. Him and I spoke at the University of Pennsylvania together, and he told me when I was ready to have my life story put into a movie script, he's there to help me, and I keep in contact with him. So, but first book will be out 6 months to a year, and then I got a 5-book series coming out on my life itself from birth to adulthood.
Wow, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. And again, like I said, you really only scratched the surface of your life. And for you to be standing there today with the positive energy that you exude and your warrior spirit is a huge testament to who you are and to your character. And I applaud you. You are amazing. And I know you don't want the accolades or anything like that, but to get to the point where you are from where you were, and then to be so outspoken about it and to tell people that they can do it too is huge. And I really, really hope that people do reach out to you. Charlie, Chahlie Stecker, on Facebook. Are you on our Mental Health Mondays Facebook page? Have you liked our Facebook page on Mental Health Mondays?
Yes.
Okay, so I was gonna
Yes,
say,
I
if you
am. I'm also
didn't, then
subscribed
go
to the
ahead
channel.
and like the Mental Health Mondays page, and then people can also find you that way. They can find you on Mental Health Mondays.
I have one more quick message to share with the world we're
Please,
living in today. Okay,
absolutely.
and it's this, folks. A dear friend, and most may never have heard of him. His name is Dr. Jesse Epps. Dr. Jesse Epps' place in American history is he was the man that actually asked Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to come to Memphis for the sanitation workers strike. Dr. Epps was on the balcony of the Lorraine Hotel when Dr. King was murdered. Dr. Epps was my mentor for the last 15, 16 years of his life before he passed away. And one of the things he taught me through Dr. King's message was this. Dr. King wanted all of us to stop looking at the outside of us and what we look like from the outside. The outside, our skin, how we're dressed, how big we are, whatever, is only the gift wrap for the gift we are inside. So stop looking at each other for what you look like, what your political ideologies may be, what your religious, your spirituality may or may not be, for what you wear, for what you look like outside. Start looking at people on the inside. And guess what? You're going to find a lot of us are a lot alike, wanting the same things, just finding it in a different way. So embrace each other, accept each other for who they are, and let's come together. We're all in this boat together called life. Let's stop thinking part of it, because we think part of it, we're all going down together.
Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. And I mean, I just want to make a point to everyone, as always, scrolling at the bottom of our screen, we have our 988 number. That is our nationwide mental health and suicide hotline. So please utilize that. And there are professionals on manning that line and womaning, I say, manning and womaning that line. And they'll connect you with services in your community if you don't know where to look and reach out. And as always, we're here on Mental Health Mondays. Charlie is here, Chahlie Stecker. I can tell you that he will talk to you, and the energy and the love that he's putting out now, that he will put that out for you individually as well. You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
All right, Lucy.
Anything last? Because I think you really wrapped it up, man. Let me tell you, I'm going to replay this
yeah, I'll
1,000
end it
times.
with this. Live every day like it's your last. One day it will. And don't leave anything left undone before that day comes.
Amen. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell people how you feel about them today, because we're not promised tomorrow. So thank you so much, Charlie, for being with us today. As always, you inspire me. Thank you. And I just want to ask everyone to go ahead and share this on the replay, subscribe to Mental Health Mondays, to the PA Empowerment Network, and we'll see you next Monday at 6 o'clock. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And again, thank you, Charlie.